What is up, people? How's everyone doing? Looks like we've got some activity happening in the chat. Good to see some new names and some of the usual faces. And how's everyone doing? Where's everyone tuning in from? And yeah, this should be a fun one. We did something like this around a month ago, and we were looking at cyberpunk, and we're going to, every sort of on a rota of every 4 weeks, we're going to look at an artist-specific sound. So as you can tell from today's title, we're going to be delving into sounds from The Weeknd, predominantly his new sort of 80s inspired, like this new 80s thing. Yeah, hey everyone. Hi, MB Beckham. He were here about 20 minutes ago. Varad, oh wow, I needed this. That's great to hear. Rashane's excited. That's awesome. Insane shorts. Pop songs like JB, certainly something we can consider for the future. Actually did a Bieber pack for ADSR a while back, and I'm sure we could maybe think about something like that for sure. Doswell Beach should be a good video. Thanks very much. I hope that you all get something out of it. Blaze FM is calling me the Studio One bro. Yeah, I think I'm probably the only streamer on ADSR certainly who uses Studio One. So yeah, it's good to have a bit of variation. I know Jane likes to use Logic and Pro Tools, and Tetra likes Ableton, and I think I mainly just use Studio One. Hey Hydrotech, I noticed on Discord, Hydrotech, that you have landed some sort of sound design gig. That's awesome. Nice work. Sounds from the My Dear Melancholy EP would be cool. Okay, interesting. Yes, I'm on all three platforms. Awesome, guys. Virginia. Oh, wow, awesome. Yeah. Wow. Philadelphia. People tuning in from some much hotter for certain locations. Yeah, congrats. That's awesome. So today we are going to be exploring the sounds of The Weeknd, and like I said, it's mainly from sort of, Save Your Tears, Blinding Lights, all these sort of sounds. I'm going to try and cover pads, basses, leads, some predominantly key sounds, maybe some atmospheric layers, and I'm going to, again, I'm not sure if anyone watched last week. Last week was just focused around the new SQ80V from Arturia. This week we're using basically Serum, Pigments. We might delve into some other things, but whatever presets I make today, you can download them free on our Discord server by tomorrow. So anything I make, I will save, and you can grab them yourself. So you can either watch, learn, recreate, or you can just download my presets that I create on the stream from tomorrow onwards. So if you're watching now, you can grab them tomorrow. If you're watching in the future, Discord server link for ADSR music production tutorials is always in the bio. So we're going to be creating pads, leads, basses, keys, presets. And the fundamental thing that we're going to be focusing on really for the sound of The Weeknd is the waveform. And the main waveform that we're going to be looking at for nearly all these sounds, like basses, the keys, the leads, the pads, is sawtooths. That's not to say we won't mix it up with other ones, but that's predominantly it. I probably won't be making drum sounds today, so I've just got the ADSR sample manager, and I'll go through a couple of those. If we have time, could certainly make our own drums. There is one dedicated to kicks. We probably should look at snares or something on snares and claps in the future. But really, if you want the drum sound that you get in the Weeknd's tracks, you probably want to be looking at Linn drum samples. And also, if you aren't using Serum or Pigments, you can follow along if you don't have any of those with like the Ableton native synth or the Studio One or Logic. They all have the same thing. All you've got to use is this little acronym that I like, which is fellow, which is F. You have to have something that has a filter, E, an envelope, L, LFO, so you can use that for modulation, O, something with at least one, hopefully 2 or 3 oscillators, and lastly, your waveforms. You can either have waveforms in it or import waveforms. So fellow, I'm pretty sure almost every synth will have those things. So yeah, without ado, let's get into it. If you have any questions, sometimes I pick them up as I'm going through, depending on how busy things are. But usually I will come around at the end, last 10 minutes, and answer any questions you have at all. If you have suggestions for future things you'd like to look at that we haven't covered today, you can again mention that here and we'll take it on board, or mention it in the Discord. And yeah, let's get into it. So only 4 of us here. Why do I feel like I'm in the special issue? Okay, so like I said, primarily using serum and pigments, but doesn't mean you have to use either of those. So I'm on the initialized patch here for serum. I am going to be doing a bit like what I did with the Cyberpunk one, which is laying down sort of like chord pattern, like a harmonic progression, maybe a main melody lead, counter melody, bass, just so you can hear everything in context. So let's start off with chord progression. I usually start with chords instead of a bass, just because the bass is primarily going to follow the root note of the chords. So let's think about some chords. I'm completely making these up on the spot. And I'll just get a rough patch and then I can tweak it as I go along. Switch my metronome on. So even our patches which use the chords, I'm going to use sawtooths. So first of all, I'm going to turn on 2 oscillators. Remember, you can follow along or you can grab these. It's completely up to you. And I will route both of these into standard MG low 12 filter. So we've got 12 dB slope filter on there. And what kind of pad am I wanting to go for here? We have to think about the envelope in terms of the shape of the sound over time. Do I want something stabby to begin with? I will be layering this chord progression, but probably something with a longer release and a longer sustain. Let's bring up the release. And the attack's fine where it's at. Okay, nothing too special. Let's start introducing some of the unison and the voices, because one of the huge things that plays a part in all of the sound design and the synth presets that are in not just The Weeknd, but a lot of these new songs, someone mentioned Justin Bieber before, is unison and detuned oscillators. And you'll see exactly what I mean if you don't know what I'm talking about. You feel that just literally went like 80s instantly? It's because of, well, it's you know, what you associate with 80s music is basically these characteristics and these sounds. So you can do this in a couple of different ways. Is you can maybe leave one oscillator without any detune and without any voices and one with it. That way you have really good mono compatibility, and that's what I'm going to do here. And the last thing I'm going to do, this is not an advanced preset or anything, by the way. It's purely just to get sort of something down a harmonic progression. Is just apply something to the filter, bump up the resonance a tad, and then we can come back later on and shape the sound more, because I will be layering it. Put this on the envelope. Okay, and I'm just going to grab my sustain pedal, and now I'm just thinking of a chord progression. I'll probably start off with some sort of minor chord. This is always the hard part. Okay, I've got an idea now. Okay, that'll work. That'll definitely work. I think I need something that opens slightly quicker on the LFO, so let's change this to bar, and let's just get this down. Let's open this up a tad more. I can never help myself. Okay, let's record this. So this was just a double check. Or maybe down an octave lower. Excellent. I'm already wanting to change the envelope in the ADSRs, but I said I wouldn't spend too long on the initial harmonic patch. Okay, so let's get this down. Okay, quantize this. Let's hear it back now. And this is the main harmonic progression which the bass will follow. The leads will be based around this. Every other sound will be based around. Okay, yeah, that's cool. It's sort of like it's got one passing chord in it, but it's just 4 chord progression, whole notes, nothing too fancy. That's one of the main things with pop, is just keep it simple and don't overdo it. So you just recently bought Omnisphere Nexus. You can do all this with Omnisphere Nexus, I think, yeah. I've never actually had Nexus, but Omnisphere I do have. And yeah, you can do most of this with that. Okay, so I've got my main harmonic progression, and before I go ahead and start layering in different key sounds, I'm going to start by getting my bass down and just sort of get a progression going. So I'm going to duplicate this complete track, which will copy over the chords as well, just to get another instance of Serum, and it's taking me back to an initialized patch from before. Okay, so we're back to yes, the new Arturia. Do you mean the new Arturia SQ80, or maybe the new? Yeah, me and Bjorn are wondering the same thing. So onto a bass sound. So again, I'm going to do the same thing from before, but these oscillators are going to be tuned a lot lower. Okay, route them both into a filter together. Okay, awesome. Starting to sound good. And again, let's detune one of these. Honestly, I really feel like you can go up to 16, but it always sounds quite good at 3. Quite a good sound. It's very rich. I'm just going to again apply another LFO to the cutoff here, but I'm going to adjust the length. Okay, let's bump up the resonance, and also this FAC control here is really, really cool. As you can see here, it sets a variation on the filter, e.g. on multi-filters, not used on all filter types. Basically, this is just a really nice way to thicken up the sound that's been routed into the filter. Let's just change this from trigger to... Okay, I like that. Let's do one more thing. I'm going to introduce a sub-oscillator. I can get this to go through the filter as well, but there's no need to really. Maybe this is a tad fast. Actually, I can't really decide. Maybe I need to go slightly faster. That's actually cool. It's a bit tighter, isn't it? Okay. I'll open up my panel on this side just so I can... Yeah, level-wise it's good. Okay, we're just about to try this out in context. There's a lot more I want to do to this in terms of shaping as well, but this one's a bit of a tighter sound. So the release and decay can be lowered. Let's check this out, see how this layers up. Okay, I need to change the length here. I realised playing it back that I didn't play it the way I thought. I thought I'd played it at shorter notes. So I need slightly longer decay and release. Okay, we're getting a bit too much crossing here with the decay. Again, the sustain's a bit long. Just taming there. Just about there, yep. Very analog, very, very analog. One little thing I'm going to do, which I really, really love, is let's grab a separate LFO and use this to modulate the fine of the oscillator that hasn't got any voices on it. Sorry, the semi value, just a tiny bit. I don't know why I said fine, but I've put it on the semi. Remove. So I'm in the fine. So the fine semi, you got your octave. Your semi will tune it within half steps, and then fine is really microtonal. You get a little bit more of that warmth, by the way. And then we got a coarse tune at the end as well, which is really nice. Yeah, that sounds good enough for here. I think I like the resonance maybe a tad more on the cutter. Yeah, okay. So again, let's track this part. Okay, let's record this. Decided I'm not going to play the passing notes. And I still ended up playing one of them. Oh Brent. Okay, that one there, not cool, man. Okay, let's check this out. Let's see how it layers up. Okay, this one's not quite on the grid, probably is it? It's probably 16th, yeah, it's 16th notes. I don't know why. Okay. And last thing before it drives me crazy is just lengthen out this now. Okay, got bass, got this. I think I will just I think I've just downloaded a couple of things here, just purely to use for, again, I don't really think I'll get a ton of time to do kicks, snares, all these things, but you know, that's why we have sample packs. So the drum sounds aren't going to be mind-blowing because I'm just using them as a crutch to get the progression going. 4 on the floor groove, and I'll just drop these down a tad. Okay, great. This needs to be a tad louder. I think this is, I'm going to layer this with a clap as well. I would usually drop these onto an impact so I just have a bit more control, but for the sake of time, how are we doing? Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, is this a snare or a clap? Yeah, it's a clap, okay. Nice reverb tail on that, gated, which is what I was looking for. One shot snare, that's what I need. How is this sounding? Okay, I need to pitch this down. I can just come down here, transpose it down a bit, and maybe roll off some of the top end. It's no Lin drum snare, but it'll do. That's better. Let's check these guys out. What's cool is the clap is slightly late, so with that being just a bit ahead, a bit behind, it's just a good way to get like a bit more of a natural groove. And shall we bring in the closed hi-hats? So I'm at 120. Let's see if this fits. Nice. This is the coolest plugin ever. If anyone hasn't used this, it's basically like stereo delay from Logic, but on steroids. it's just really good for top layers, percussion layers, for making like binaural sort of width. Okay, that'll do. That's honestly as much as I'm going to do, because I want to focus on creating presets that you guys can create and you guys can use. But yeah, drums is a big old thing that you cannot do in a 1 hour live stream. So we need this one. Okay, awesome. So we'll continue on the theme of our pads. So I'm going to duplicate this one. Again, complete duplicate, and I've got a rough list of the sort of pads that I'm going to create, haven't I? I'm just looking. Keys, mid-range pad, an airy drone, top pad, stab, and maybe even a Rhodes style keys. Wow. I must have forgotten that this was 1 hour and not 10. So I'm just going to solo and loop this part round. So I'm going to use the part that I already have. I'm going to use the part that I already have made, this patch here, this initial patch. I'll have to name these tomorrow, but you'll be able to grab these. Don't forget on the Discord from tomorrow. And I'm going to use this to create a top pad, which is a lot brighter. Okay, I'm going to mix this oscillator here. I think if I go into analog, where is the Juno one? Okay. Great. I'm going to add in some noise now. Yeah, I need it in one shot mode, but it's subtle, but it adds the top end. You'll only hear this if you've got really good headphones. And I'm going to also apply the envelope to the level here. You get a similar effect if you used RC20 and used vinyl or something to follow along. Yeah, quite cool. Just to create a bit of interest and make these feel analog, let's use an LFO to scan the wavetable of some of these. Let's try and get a more harmonically rich oscillator, something with some more odd and even harmonics. So rounded to square, that could be interesting. Okay, we can start to look at adding in some effects now. So hyperdimension, I really love this thing. It's really, really good. I usually don't use the hyper if I'm completely honest. Lastly, chorus. Quite different from the previous pad. Let's see how they layer up together. So this is just supposed to be a top layer to complement that. Yeah, it's getting there. It's almost there. Just need a tiny bit more bite from it. Yeah, it's subtle, but it's adding a lot when you take it away. Let's check out this then. Yeah, this is Daft Punk. What chord progression is that? It's 6, and then it's major 7. Oh, I can make these 7th chords as well. Yeah. What kind of chord progression is that? 4, 4, 6, 4, 4, 6, 5, 1. Dun, dun. Yeah, I can't quite remember, but I think it is somewhere. Yeah, it's getting there. I feel like the last thing I'm going to do with the pads and the keys type layers, at least for now, is I'm going to add a sort of like a Rhodes type pluck, which you can easily do with Serum. And also then I'm going to head over to Pigments and create 1 or 2 patches with that. So I go back to initialize patch. And with this one, basic shapes, I need to use basically a sine wave to get the effect of a Rhodes paired with another sine wave. I'm going to mix it with another wave actually and use this basically. It's really short. Okay, great. Now what I can do here is I want to make this as an R player in the background, and I'm going to put quite a bit of chorus on it. And I'm just going to also put on compressor, multiband, bring it back for now, then we can adjust it in a second, and delay. And on the delay, let's do ping pong. Let's see if we can do a dotted 8th note. Can't do dotted, but it's close enough. Triplet, I can. Dotted triplet. Okay. I want to use this as an R player in the background just to create interest. Really subtle. I know Ariana Grande does this a lot on her tracks. Just sort of like creates interest in the background. You can actually use the folders in here as an ARP, or you could create your own, or you could just literally do arpeggiated chords played in, or you might have note effects. So for example here I have note effects. I know for sure Logic has like note effects. Ableton yeah, they've all got note effects. Very cool, but we need to change some of this stuff. So I want to be super plucky, and what would be really nice with this layer is add in a transient. So what's what we got? Analog JP chorus. It's not quite what I'm looking for. Maybe I should use a kick. Yeah, pitched up high, that works surprisingly well. Okay, now the last bit, the party trick, is soak this guy in reverb. Hall. Get rid of the low end stuff, sounds horrible. Okay, and this guy will be really low in the mix, and it's creating interest as things keep going on. Okay, very good, very good. And let's move on to creating a much harsher bass. So this is going to be a really, really sort of distorted bass. So I've got a good starting point because I'm duplicating layers here and modifying them. Let's see what we got in here. Organics. Okay, that's quite good. Oh yes. Okay, going back in the effects now, let's get crazy with distortion. Put in pre. The diodes are always really nice, but they are quite heavy. This is great for increasing your crest factor, which is awesome. Compressor into multi-band, and this is great for getting your tight low end. The chorus is cool, but and let's just try and get some slightly more interesting waveforms. There's a really nice digital one, which I can't remember the name of. The cream one's always nice. Try and listen to this one on its own. It's nice. It's not very Weeknd, that though, is it? And this is too fast. I'm going to change the filter here actually. Oh dear, read the manual was not what I wanted to go on. Just slightly shaping. We're nearly there, people. I always play the keys when I'm trying. I'm almost there. Let's send that sub into here and use it as a third oscillator. Great. Okay, that's quite cool. And a super tight reverb on it. Small size, really short decay. Just to try and place it in a room. I wish it had a pre-delay. Okay. Okay, that's pretty good bass. I'm just going to take it off the loop and we'll just try it. Didn't realise it was gone. Actually, the reason I didn't realise it was gone is because I didn't have my metronome. Give me a proper counting. Okay. 16th is correct for this. And I believe I've got a couple of good volume shapers on here, but Kickstarter was a good one for this sort of thing. If you like the sound, you will be getting it for free if you just head on the Discord server tomorrow. So nice and tight's always good for these. So I'm trying to avoid the kick and bass colliding too much. More so on this previous bass. So this is where you want to use the KHS Horse, because this bass we can pretty much get rid of everything up to about 3 to 500. That's great. Okay, awesome. So we have got this so far. Okay, it's time to do counter melodies, leads, etc. So let's do one in Serum, because honestly I think more people end up using Serum, and then we'll head over to Pigments, because as you can see I spent most of my time in Serum. Lot of fun this, man. A lot of fun. The hard part is coming up with ideas on the spot, but it's good from a compositional standard to just get me like, try and get me quicker, you know. So honestly, the funny thing is, right, basses and leads are not far apart, you know. Someone else is saying get lucky harmony. Oh dear, I hope I'm not going to get in a lot of trouble here. Basses and leads are not far apart. It's honestly mostly octave ranges, and then once you move out the octave range, you're not even in the right place to worry about your low end that you had preserved. You know. But I am going to start with an initial patch just for the sake of making things sound good. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. There we go, getting the sound there. Okay, we need to pitch this up more. Let's head in here and use the sawtooth. Bit of noise. And bring sustain. And just make this a bit tighter. This needs to be faster. nice. That's probably almost there. Let's bring my noise back in now. I've realised what I like. Okay, let's make this thing wide. You can see I'm using sort of similar-ish effects here every time. Okay, and then this is basically what takes it from, like, you know, this nice 80s thing to instant The Weeknd. See what we can figure out though melodically. This might be a counter melody, it might be the main melody, depends on how good it is. I'm just going to bring the levels down because I'm fighting basically. That sounds good. I don't think anyone's used that before. There we go. Just came up with that right now. I guess it'll probably work. I don't think it'll be a big hit though, but sounds good. Sounds okay. The release is so long. Okay, something like this will work. Sadly can't take the original melody. Oh man, every time. I don't really... Okay, here we go this time. Okay, that was so quick, but I can imagine it being lyrical. Let's check this out, see if I can... I always think if melody, if you can hum a melody, you know, it'll work. Okay, awesome. Love that. Let's duplicate it and create a counter melody, but with a less tighter envelope on it. So something that's more like it's got less notes in the actual melody itself, but also it's just got a much tighter ADSR. And by that I mean longer decay. And let's and this one will be a lot more distant. I'm going to sort of leave quite a bit of this apart from EQ it differently. Getting there. I tell you what, one thing I should do is use one more filter. A comb filter. There we go. That's really going to help. I might end up using this as the lead. Let's just check how this sounds out of curiosity now. Go back to what I had here and change this to a comb filter. It's helping it cut through so much better. Just curious how this sounds now. Okay, how does it sound in context? It's too long on sustained stuff. You see how this they take up ages, these presets. That's a bit more interesting. These comes are a little bit too much. The flanges around. Let me think. I just want to slightly change these. I'm in a tricky situation now. Phase fill maybe. That's better. Let's just roll off a tiny, tiny bit of top end. Reduce the Q. I think that's it. I think we got there. Much better. Okay, great. There's a bit of mixing work that needs to be done here in terms of finding room for stuff. This doesn't need. Yeah, so this would basically, I think that's a main lead, and the battling is basically this counter melody would be more of a verse thing. Some great pads and some good leads and stuff, yeah. How about the lead begins in the second half? I would have muted it, but. Let's try something a bit more interesting in terms of shapes. Huh, instant stranger thing. Okay, let's just say about it. Counter melody for the start. Okay, some good sounds here. Actually, kind of had a sound actually. Need a tiny bit less. Well, not tiny. Another decay. Tighter sound, cool. Okay. Sheesh, just seen the time. Woof. Okay. Let's try this out. Nice. This one I keep going back to time and time again to change the mainly just on the envelope actually. Okay, that'll have to do. I sadly didn't do any pigments, so it looks like people will be getting free segments. Oh wow, what about if that was like my very about 3-4 months ago I came up with the term boscillator, so maybe pigments, Arturia and Exfa want to team up to make segments. So anyway, if you want to grab the presets that I've made today, let's have a quick scour through. We've got pads, we've got basses, we've got leads. So here's our first pad that we created as a starting format for the harmony. Second pad. Sort of like a droney top layer. This is our R player, very percussive. I forgot we did an op. And then our main Moog style bass. Then a more hard style chorus bass. And then we have a lead. Cool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 or 7 sounds. Let me have a look at our comments, guys. So if there's anything I missed, please let me know, but I'm just going to have to quickly scour through. I didn't realize the time. So from when we started, I was thinking about Omnis real well about native instruments, but they take me off and I'm not spending more for the full complete. Oh yeah, complete's awesome, but it is very, very expensive, you're right. I use the fat feature too to make that part sound a bit more analog. Yeah, the fat is great on the filter. That bass is sounding nice and thick. Yes, thank you very much, Quentin. You're more than welcome to download it yourself as well, completely free if you really like it. The Ultimate keyboard from Native. Yeah, the S88 is a great keyboard from Native Instruments. Nice weighting. I think I did end up adding reverb and delay on the chords, didn't I? I can't remember, but awesome suggestion, Hydrotech. I need to spend more time exploring Complete. Don't we all? One of these days we should do a sound design challenge. Yeah, that sounds fun. Seems like other people are into it as well. Could be very interesting to see. Be interesting to hear other people's sounds other than just my own tripe. It would be cool to have a sound design challenge in its own right as part of a producer challenge. You could, a lot is about the theorem practice versus the tool. Very, very true. I'd imagine people have learned a lot though over the last sort of 3-4 months or more. I literally lost track. Mixing challenge, yeah, exactly. Just a challenge for every different type of stream that we run here. What DAW is this? This is Studio One from Presonus. DPS. Digital Performer has used up all the good chord progressions by now. Is that what we mean? DP, or maybe we're referring to an artist. I have trouble trying to make the drums thick like Max Martin has been doing recently. Yeah, it's because Max Martin is like the best producer in the world though, isn't he? That's what Sweden does. They have like a hit factory where they get kids writing songs from the age of 7 years old, which is crazy. Someone's correct in saying he does have people creating, 2 guys creating just doing the kick drums. Always Low, yeah, thanks. You can download them. Get Lucky Harmony, yeah, so I figured out, but it's been used for hundreds, if not thousands of songs. The people are saying they're both using serums. Brent found Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Did I? Probably have to go and watch the stream back, but yeah, maybe I was playing minor thirds or something, or diminished thirds. Find serums harsher. Okay. Yeah, I guess it could be the oscillators are a bit smoother on Pigments, maybe. Those pads are sounding more Juno-ish in the mix. Yeah, I love the Juno oscillators you get, and don't forget you can bring your own oscillators over from vintage synths if you can grab some off the internet, or maybe you can sample them from a shop and get handcuffed as you try to sample all of their synths for free. Straight up the Weeknd melody. Yeah, we eventually got to a Weeknd melody, didn't we? Lower octave Tim sound, absolutely correct. I figured that out after about 10-15 minutes. Sounds great from that sound went from Close Encounters of the Third Kind to Phil. Oh yeah, well if it's Phil Collins then that's good enough. So this is very nice in top. I find this one could be a great. I think it did turn into a solo lead. So Paul, let's create 80s synth sounds, not the Weeknd sounds. Yeah, so the Weeknd is obviously inspired by the 80s. In terms of little originality, I guess you could totally say that about every type of music because music's just fashion, isn't it? But yeah. There's so much stuff like that, isn't it? I guess all that happens is you get music that is inspired from another era, but it has maybe new production techniques and new technology that's allowed it to create new sounds. But yeah, this album is more or less just attributed to the 80s. I couldn't agree more. Every so years, yeah. There's a cycle. There's actually a theory for this, a fashion cycle for music, where basically you get a certain genre of music comes around. So we're actually heading into sort of like this weird punk rock synth thing at the minute. If you just think of the Kid Laroi, like that's very from like the late 80s. Wonder if we can get them out with some old gear. I reckon you might be able to, Paul. Yeah. If you have Serum though, you can download them free, Paul, sync from our Discord server. There's no hidden costs or anything. Seriously, it's all just whatever you watch me do, you can grab them. As Logic users and say, this got me interested in checking out Studio One. That's great, Bone. Yeah, you might be able to grab a free trial. I'm pretty sure there's a light version or something. Oh wow, Jane is helping you lift your drum game tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably watch that one as well. That's awesome. So guys, that is us for today. That was really fun. Like I said, let us know what you would like to look at for the next sort of artist focused sound design stream. We're doing these once on sort of a monthly basis. So if there's any artist in particular that you really, really want to, like, how do they make that sound? As long as it's not outrageously dubstep, not that I hate dubstep, I really like it. I just know those days are kind of gone, apart from Virtual Riot, still making some great sort of dubstep stuff. Let me know. How come no one teaches how to make... Yeah, Weeknd Trilogy was a fantastic album, Gerard. But for this, it just seemed to lean more towards the... I've forgotten the name of the new album. Oh, I've forgotten the name of it. But yeah, Trilogy is a really, really good sample. A really good album. It was almost like... different artists then. it's just the way he's been shaped, I guess. But anyway, I shall catch you next week. I hope you all have a great week. Virtual Riot is awesome. That'll be an interesting stream. He's got this amazing blend between future bass, dubstep, pop. It's weird, but it's awesome. Anyway, as you can see, I could talk for Britain. So thanks for coming along. There will be free presets. I think it's about 6 or 7. I'll have the free presets on the Discord server by tomorrow. There is already free presets on there from the Arturia SQ80 from last week. Oh, wow. The iconic sounds from Star Wars. That sounds incredible. There's some awesome ideas. Keep them coming. Cheers from Sweden. Wow, what a beautiful country. I would love to visit. And maybe I will in the future. But until then, I've loved this, guys. I shall see you next week. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow night to Jane's stream on producing drums and creating drums. I shall see you next week, guys. Have a great week.